Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Racism Ireland. I'm your host, Harrison Paul. Today, the biggest, the largest anti-migrant protest took place in Dublin today, the 7th of May, a day we hopefully remember for a very, very long time. Niger Ireland posts and says, Irish lives matter. Those words could be heard from the crowd in what seemed to be the largest anti-migrant protest in Dublin today. What are your thoughts? Well, my thoughts are, look at them. Wonderful, we know what Irish lives. It's a tough life. It's a tough job, guys. Wanting to liberate Black people psychologically, it's definitely a tough job because in one hand, I'm frustrated with the fact that we can somehow think people walking down the street chanting "Irish Lives Matter" is got nothing to do with the little underhanded comment to our Black Lives Matter movement we had in 2020. I in one hand, I'm frustrated with how naive an African can be, and then in another hand, the good Lord has to remind me of something that He has revealed to me many, many times, and I'm going to get a clip for you guys to watch it so you understand this. This is an amazing video. I've had it on my phone for quite some time because I knew that I wanted to play it when it came the time, and I was looking for an opportunity where I could use it to support a point I would make on this show. And it's been there for a while, and I finally have the video today, so I'm like, yo, this is actually brilliant. So I'm going to play this clip for you guys to see it, and then we're going to kind of mesh this in with the whole protest today.
Well, we've been traumatized, haven't we? Right? As student teachers, we've long been trying to teach people the importance of genetic programming. As African people right now, we're living in the results of genetic trauma and genetic programming. And the concept is quite simple. If I take you right now, kidnap you, right? Lock you up, tie you up, take away all your freedoms, right? And every time you try and escape, I beat you, I torture you, I put you through the worst pain. Eventually, you're going to break, right? Eventually, you're going to stop seeking your own freedom because you know every time you try and seek your freedom, you go through the worst pain known, right? Eventually, you break, but you have an understanding why you've broken. You have an understanding why you're not seeking your freedom because you know every time I tried, I got beaten, I got tortured, right? But go a couple generations down. The trauma of those beatings, the trauma of that pain that you went through is still in your genes. But the difference with your grandchildren is they don't have a direct knowledge of why they're not seeking their freedom. But they know every time they think about seeking it, they become scared, they become fearful, right? And that's genetic programming. We have so many African people scared of their own freedom because it's literally been tortured out of you and stamped in the genes where you physically haven't gone through the pain and the torture of what our ancestors went through, but still you don't want the freedom.
And I want to add to that and say that, of course, there are to a degree where we've not experienced the severe torture, but we've all experienced, the underhandedness, the covert racism. We've all experienced the discrimination. We've all experienced the where someone is, controlling and undermining and all these very, I guess, vicious, abusive emotions and emotional abuse that we go through as Black people in this society. And then on top of it, you're gaslighted when you're like, you know what? And you kind of react or have something to say about it, and you won't be believed, and you know what it looks like to see maybe some other Black person get in a situation and then watch every white person give that white person who put through that Black person through something the benefit of the doubt, and you think, okay, listen, I don't want to speak out. Why? Because that it looks like no matter what, when it's a Black person versus a white person, that white person will get the benefit of the doubt. So you just know that, listen, it's my time to suffer. It's my plight to suffer. So, as I said, on one hand, I'm frustrated with the African because I'm like, how can you be so? Then on another hand, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's an indoctrination. It's an indoctrination. We don't realize that we are performing and we are, behaving under the spell of just compliance, submission. Oh my goodness, in many ways, and I left this in my last video, you should go and watch it, put on the screen, of I said, the white man in many ways, I admire him. I look at him, and not in ways that you think. He doesn't take rubbish. He doesn't know the idea of just shut up, leave it. We'll just do, we'll just keep the head down and just accept it because he doesn't know that. He absolutely doesn't know it. He doesn't know that. If he's not good enough, it doesn't meet his criteria. He's not taking that. That's why here they're gonna march, and once they get everyone to come out and they have the backing of each other, so they don't feel like because they're very good, white people, when it comes to like not wanting to be branded as something. They're very good with branding, huh? So now they all are backing each other. Conversation they used to have in the kitchen alone. Oh, geez, these Africans are, now they can have this out loud and together. And which means they all are protecting each other in this time, and this just shows they don't give a rat's what you think. Discomfort is not their portion. They don't give a rat's what you think or you feel about an African. And I'm just doing what they do. I am going to speak what I think, what I know, what I think, and I'm not going to do it under the covers and gossip about white people. Like, man, you see white people, this is what they do. We know. That's the way to, no. No, I'm too alpha male for that. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it out loud. You're going to hear me. You're going to know I said it. You're going to know I said it. You're going to know I said it. I'm not doing no more gossip. But that's just the way they are. And this whole idea of then just salvaging the one or two white people that are nice and we worship them. And it's like, you're a nice white person. I'm going to hang on to you like you mean so much. I even grew from that, and I'm like, listen, I'm going to do what I got to do. If you can be a nice white person, but you got to be a humble white person to know, listen, my brother got to do what he got to do, and it's not good for me to take personally. It's not for me to make it about me. My brother got to fight. My brother got to say some things. Yes, they're a majority of my race who are letting me down. We have been birthed and rare with privilege, with a level of lacking empathy and inconsiderate. I can't stop my brother. I can't lie to him and tell him that's not the case. I cannot marginalize him or make him not see what he's seeing. And guess what? I don't want no white friend who's going to make, look, okay, police me. No, not like this, not like that. No, it wasn't your pain. I watched my mama be discriminated against. And my mama watched her grandfather serve the white man. And it's been generation and generation. Here we are today. Listen, I'm not, I'm not about to sit around and wait for things to make you feel comfortable. And not anymore. Not anymore, actually. Not anymore. And I do appreciate the white people who say, go ahead, bro. Do your thing. You talking, and you better talk. And I'm not talking within the lines and the parameters which white people give me anymore. But for real, though, I do got respect for the white people who can say, no, do your thing. You talk. Say your thing. It's time. I see you. In fact, I'm here to learn. I'm going to pull a chair. You know what I'm saying? So, like, honestly, for me, it's very frustrating when I see black people, but at the same time, I understand it's a slave mentality, right? It's something that's in us to just take it. And I find it a lot, when I'm, obviously I do this job a lot. I do this, I live, I breathe, I sleep this. I think about it. I interact with this topic when I talk to black people, and it's always the same tone. We should just, that same tone, please follow me, guys. It's going to be big. It's going to be big. I'm going to say that's how I know it's an illness. The same tone. And I'm going to paraphrase the tone because, everyone says it in their own way. Basically, this is our portion. Just be glad we're not in whips anymore. It's not that bad. Or I know it's there. Just don't make it worse by talking about it. We're just gassed that we're no longer there where we can't even walk in a coffee shop. And then the next line, 9 times out of 10, will be them praising the one or two white people who they know is like very welcoming. That they appreciate that so much. And 9 times out of 10, that friendship, you ain't really put into the test. You ain't really spoke the things you had to speak. You within the parameters. So how do we know that friend is really doing it? Because you going along everything they want you to say. What about the white friend that's gonna stick by you, saying, "Listen, sister, I gotta do this. Is what I gotta do. You can go and you can stay." And they're like, "I'm staying, girl. Say it. Say all of it." Then I'll be impressed by your white friends. But I look around and know all y'all are slaves. Why? Because you don't there's certain things you are allowed to say, and there's certain ways you are allowed to say it. And if it goes outside of that, you're gonna make Sean or Aoife feel too uncomfortable. And you might scare them away. So you keep everything, you keep your blackness within the parameters. You keep even your fight. Even when you gotta fight, you fight within the parameters. So I don't really see that, it's anything I would give much an award to, that they were able to, be kind or I show acts of kindness to, a black person who really is not challenging their society, their country. You know what I mean? But I really just want us as black people, and I'm hopeful, and I know that as we continue to go through these things, the penny will just drop that bit more. So I ask the Lord every day for patience, patience that black people can see the true nature of these people who are protesting, the true nature. And I have come to that understanding. I don't know how to tell you, but I've come to that understanding. I've really, really come to that understanding. And it's hard for me to unsee the things that I see. I'm not trying to see the bad in people, but it's definitely hard for me to unsee what I see now. But at the same time, I'm grateful that I no longer feel disheartened by, these people and what I see in them. Because I guess sometimes, like you said, with the slave mentality, the truth may be so hard for you to accept. How hard, I'm going to put the image back on the screen right now. How hard is it to accept that all these people are racist? We've been taught that term racist only goes when you stop someone on the street and say, you're an N-word. That's what we were taught. And if it don't do that, it's not racism. Unless they stopped you on the street and wanted to lynch you, then it wasn't racism. That's what we've been taught. This is racism. So I'm not about to, I guess, suit up my talk when I talk about or to people like this. I'm going to stand my ground. There's something black people, we don't understand. But anyway, we'll be back to see how this continues on. It is going to be definitely, it's a major saga at the moment, the anti-migrant movement. And, it is as bad as I always thought it was. Hopefully some Africans will begin to see the truth as they begin to, they continue to expose their insides. And we just pray that the Lord will continue to reveal such, their hearts. So we don't spend time trying to impress people, running on a treadmill that really you will never arrive at the destination, or you will never arrive at the destination with your dignity intact and your self-worth and your self-respect intact. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I'm on a mission for you.